What it do, Pats Nation? How are we feeling today? You guys already know who it is. Patriots Global back here with another video. And in this one, it's an exciting one. It's one that I think you guys are really going to like because we are talking about the 2024 NFL Draft. More specifically, we're talking about two potential options for the New England Patriots in the first round with a generational potential top 3 pick for this team. We are going to be talking about the two top quarterbacks in this year's class, Caleb Williams and Drake Maye. We're going to break down basically both of these profiles. We're going to break down their strengths, we're going to break down their weaknesses, and we are also going to talk about some of their NFL pro comparisons to try to give a little bit of an insight on what these guys could potentially look like. So make sure on your way in, you guys do leave a big like on the video. We did a lot of research for this one. We made some graphics, so it would mean the world if you guys supported the channel, supported this video especially by leaving a big thumbs up. Massively supports the channel, completely free, and takes you less than a second. So without further ado, on your way in, make sure you guys do like the video, subscribe to the channel for all of your New England Patriots news. This is just a little tidbit of the content that we are going to be pumping out all offseason long. We're actually going to have a mock draft coming out soon, a way too early Patriots mock draft. So make sure you guys subscribe and stay tuned for that. So really, the best way to start talking about our first prospect here in Caleb Williams is to kick off his stats for the 2023 season. Now, Caleb Williams in 2023 put up 3,633 passing yards with a 68.6 completion percentage, 30 total passing touchdowns on just 5 interceptions, which that comparison alone, that ratio of 30 passing touchdowns to 5 interceptions is absolutely bizarre. Put up an overall rating of 170.1 with a quarterback rating of 82.3. On the ground, it really didn't do too much, especially when you put into perspective that his longest run this year was 46 yards. So 46 of those 136 yards came on just one run, but 97 total carries, 136 total rushing yards, 1.4 yards on average, and 11 total touchdowns. So in total this year, putting up just over 37 total all-purpose offensive yards. Now, I think a lot of people's first kind of instinct is going to be, well, is Caleb Williams really a realistic option for the New England Patriots? Now, at this current time, and there's still so much football to be played, the Patriots do hold the second overall pick in the 2024 draft. Now, at the end of the day, if that's how it ends, the Patriots should have a chance at Caleb Williams. If the Chicago Bears do finish with that first overall pick, which is very likely, and the New England Patriots finish with that second overall pick, which is also likely, then from what I'm hearing, Marvin Harrison Jr. is very likely to go with that first overall pick. For some reason, the Chicago Bears do still believe in Justin Fields. They want to continue to build around him. So it's a very real possibility that he could actually be the first overall pick to the Chicago Bears. That could leave the Patriots in a position to either draft Caleb Williams or Drake Maye. So there is still a possibility that New England could have their option at both quarterbacks. There is still the possibility that New England does get the first overall pick. I personally don't believe that's ultimately how this is going to fall down at the end of the day. I think we'll have a pick within the top 3, but ultimately will not finish with that first overall pick. So let's get into some of the strengths here about Caleb Williams. First off, pressure does not affect Caleb Williams even slightly. You can throw the absolute house at him, and he is going to stand tall in the pocket, and he is going to make the throw. One of the best things about Caleb Williams, I think, in his repertoire is that when he goes to the NFL, he translates to the NFL, is that his ability against the blitz is what's going to separate him from other quarterbacks. We see this as Patriots fans with Bailey Zappi. We see this especially with Mac Jones, is that when he's under pressure, when he's under duress, when there's a defender in his face, is when everything starts to break down, right? He throws off his back foot. He's throwing interceptions. He's throwing on the run. He's throwing pick sixes. Having a guy that actually performs better when he's under pressure and can take advantage of those opportunities when he's under pressure, I think is a very, very valuable asset. Some other really good things here about Drake Maye is that he makes every single NFL throw that there is. Okay, short, intermediate, deep, tight window, has to throw it with some touch, has to lob the pass. Every single throw that there is, he'll be able to make, especially with the velocity that he's able to put behind the ball. Very strong arm. Like I said, excellent velocity behind the ball. He doesn't throw on the run as much as Drake Maye does, and we'll get into those statistics with Drake Maye soon, but he's definitely a better quarterback throwing on the run than Drake Maye is. In the rare occasion, not really the rare occasion, but on the less frequent occasion that you see Caleb Williams throwing on the run, he is a lot more accurate with the ball and does take care of the ball better in those situations than Drake Maye does. Overall, very good accuracy. And like I said, all three phases here by Caleb Williams. He's also very patient as a quarterback. A lot of times, especially rookie quarterbacks, we see them being very fluttery within the pocket. You know, they want to prove themselves. They want to do too much. They try to do too much at once. They see pressure in their face. They immediately try to throw the ball away, or they're going to take the sack, or they try to make something happen that ultimately just isn't there. Caleb Williams, on the other hand, is very patient as a quarterback, lets the play develop rather than getting antsy in the pocket and forcing something to happen that ultimately just is not there. Caleb Williams is also a very, very good mental processor. He's a very smart football player. He also knows where to put the football and knows his reads, right? He knows that this is my first receiver to get there. This is my second. This is my third. And that's a little bit of a question for Drake Maye, is his ability to get through his reads. And even again, coming back to New England, an issue all season long has been our quarterbacks being able to get through their reads. His best play, though, that I have seen, and from what I'm hearing, is that his best play comes when he's asked to go off script. He can make something out of absolutely nothing. He's a clutch quarterback, and I think that is why he's being considered a generational quarterback. With that being said, though, where there are strengths for a quarterback, there are also weaknesses, and we do have to mention those. So some of the weaknesses, or concerns rather, that I have for Caleb Williams is going to be his size. Now, it's not a terrible size, but it's definitely not the size in today's generation of the NFL that you're looking for from a starting quarterback at 6'1", 216 pounds. Ultimately, that's something he's just going to have to get past. Now, he's not Kyler Murray sitting at like 5 foot, but he still doesn't have that ideal NFL quarterback size. My biggest concern about Caleb Williams, and it's kind of the big reason that I'm not as big on Caleb Williams as other people are, really does come down to his character concerns off the field. They are a big question, and they are definitely a concern. He's rumored to want partial ownership of the team he goes to. He's waiting to actually commit to the 2024 draft until he knows who has the first pick, so that he knows ultimately who's going to draft him. He has a list of teams that he's willing to go to versus teams he does not want to go to. And his father is an absolute problem, vocally talking to the media and throwing the rest of the team that Caleb Williams plays for under the bus just because of the failures of Caleb Williams. Basically, his father coming out being like, oh, well, he doesn't have weapons, or the O-line's bad, or, well, maybe if he had an actual defense that could be competent. You cannot have family members going out damaging your team, because that is one excellent, excellent way to destroy a locker room. Now, look, I'm not saying that Caleb Williams is a bad person. He does a lot for the community, and that definitely should not go untold. That definitely should not go unnoticed. But at the end of the day, I'm not talking about what you do off of the football field. I'm talking about the locker room, how you can carry yourself. Can you be a leader? Can you lead on the field? And nonetheless, these are definitely some concerns that I do have, because quite honestly, I don't want a diva in my locker room. I don't want to build around a diva, because at the end of the day, Caleb Williams is already acting from a characteristic standpoint like he is one of the best quarterbacks to ever play this game, when he has never stepped on the NFL field, period, let alone taking a snap in the NFL. So definitely some concerns that I do have from Caleb Williams. But some other weaknesses that he does have is that sometimes his play style can be a little bit too aggressive, which does result in some unneeded turnovers. Like I said, he can make something out of nothing, but sometimes in those moments of needing a clutch play, he forces something that is not there and he can just get too aggressive. Sometimes needs to be a little bit more calm and just take what is given to him. Questionable footwork also, which does affect the timing of some of his throws. Sometimes the timing doesn't necessarily come out as fast or as quick as it should, which does affect the receivers. It affects how the ball gets to his receivers. It affects the timings, which is the difference between an interception and a completion, right? A touchdown and an incompletion. So that is something that can definitely be coached out. Nothing I'm too concerned about, but it's definitely a weakness of his. And then also from time to time, he does hang on to the ball for too long. At the end of the day, I'd rather a quarterback that hangs on to the ball for a little bit longer than they should, rather than throwing interceptions. But nonetheless, especially if this offensive line for New England doesn't get fixed and he does come here, he's going to need to learn to get the ball out a little bit quicker. And then lastly, that does bring up some comparisons. The comparisons that I'm mainly hearing for Caleb Williams do come down to Patrick Mahomes. The playing styles are very similar, but the other one I'm hearing a lot is Kyler Murray. So you're kind of a toss-up. You getting Pat Mahomes or are you getting Kyler Murray? But without further ado, let's get on to Drake.
Ask you guys, and that is, have you ever tried to go to a Pats game before? Or maybe a Celtics game or Red Sox game or even just a concert, maybe even a comedy show. But you weren't able to find last minute tickets, you weren't able to find a good price. It was just overall a very unpleasant experience for you. Well, I've had that happen to me several times, and let me tell you firsthand, it definitely takes the excitement out of going to a football game or going to a sporting event or going to a comedy show, a night in which should be a fun, magical getaway for you. Truth be told, you guys should not have to worry the next time you're going to buy tickets to your next big event. And that's why I'm excited to talk about today's sponsor over at Game Time. Game Time is the fastest and easiest way to buy tickets for all of your sports events, music events, comedy events, or even theater events near you. With killer last-minute deals, all-in prices, views from your seats, and their best price guaranteed, Game Time takes the guesswork out of you having to buy those tickets. Now, I've used other ticket buying services in the past, and let me tell you, the best one is hands down Game Time. Not only do they have what I believe is the cleanest layout on their app, but it also shows me exactly what my view will be from my seat. You never have to worry about, is this going to be too close to the stage? Is this going to be too far from the stage? Am I going to have a good view? They let you know exactly when you're looking at tickets for yourself what to expect. Me personally, what I look for the most is a good price when I'm trying to find tickets for an upcoming event. And with Game Time, they will actually list and show you what the best deal is at that current time for that specific event. With Game Time, you are guaranteed to get the lowest price every single time you use their app and make a purchase. They also have free cancellation at any time, and they even have job loss protection. Game Time is the only app that gives you complete peace of mind from start to finish, and you're not wasting any time. You know the event you want, it takes 2 taps max to get your tickets, pick your tickets, and purchase those tickets. What intrigued me most about Game Time, though, is how they are truly for the people rather than just trying to get as much money from you as humanly possible. I mean, they are literally obsessed with finding ways for you guys to save money. Game Time has deals on tickets right up to the start of the event, and they even have deals an hour after your event starts. You guys can find exclusive flash and sponsored deals on tickets for football, basketball, baseball, concerts, comedy, theater, and so much more. With zone deals, you guys pick the section and Game Time will pick the seats for you for an average of 18% savings. And the Game Time guarantee means that you guys will get the best price. And if you guys find tickets in that same section and row for less money, Game Time will actually credit you 110% of that difference. Seriously, guys, take the guesswork out of buying tickets. It's supposed to be a fun night. It shouldn't be a stressful one. So if you guys want to make it stress-free, check out Game Time. All you guys got to do is download the Game Time app, create an account, and use my code Patriots Global for $20 off your first purchase. Terms do apply. Again, create an account, redeem that code Patriots Global, PATSGLOBAL, for $20 off. Guys, download Game Time today for low prices and last-minute tickets guaranteed.
All right, guys, so go ahead and check out Game Time. That will be linked in the description box below for $20 off your next event. But without further ado, let's get into Drake Maye, the consensus number 2 quarterback in this year's class. So Drake Maye's stats for the 2023 season: 3,608 yards, a 63.3 completion percentage, 24 touchdowns, 9 interceptions, 149 rating, with a 78.8 quarterback rating. On the ground, he was significantly better than what we saw from Caleb Williams. 112 total carries, so obviously had about 22 or so rough more carries than Caleb Williams had in 2023, but almost 500 yards. Puts up 449 yards on the ground, averaging 4 yards per carry and 9 total touchdowns. Get back on the screen here, but overall, the thing about Drake Maye, the big thing that probably is the difference, number one, is going to be his size. 6'4", 230 pounds. He brings the size you want in your starting quarterback, that ideal size that you're looking for. Say what you want about certain areas of his play. One thing he can't teach, like I said, is height, is size, and Drake Maye, he definitely brings that. Very big, very athletic, but he's also a very, very instinctual quarterback. Most importantly, though, he's a dual threat quarterback. And I truly do believe that if you are looking for a more dual threat quarterback, the quarterback who can run and be mobile, but can also pass the ball and be efficient in that area, I really do think that the better quarterback for you is Drake Maye over Caleb Williams. Now, North Carolina does not have a great offensive line, but they did still find success with Drake Maye sensing pressure and going out wide and extending plays, or going and running and picking up the first. Just like Caleb Williams, Drake Maye can make all the throws from the short to intermediate to the route, with arguably his best passes coming in the deeper section of the field. So if you're looking for more big plays, more splash plays, and not just these constant short intermediate checkdowns, then you will definitely like the play of Drake Maye. He also knows when to throw the ball with touch versus having to throw a bullet pass into tight windows. So he has that makeup. He has that mental processing of understanding which types to throw in certain situations. He also can be very accurate just sitting in the pocket and throwing under duress, which is also something you really want, which, he's definitely not as good at sensing pressure as Caleb Williams. He's definitely not as good under pressure as Caleb Williams. But if he does need to stand tall in the pocket and make passes under duress, he can definitely still make something happen. Overall, also very, very, very good arm strength. So that definitely comes back to his ability throwing in the deeper sections of the field. But I think that these 50-50 ball catchers, right? Guys like Devontae Parker, maybe even guys like Tyquan Thornton, can find more success with a guy who can bomb the ball down the field. The big weaknesses here, though, to Drake Maye's game, though, is that he does not have great accuracy when he is throwing on the run. Like I mentioned earlier, the thing about Caleb Williams is that he definitely doesn't throw on the run as much as Drake Maye does. But when Caleb Williams does throw on the run, he is more accurate. He knows where to place the ball. It's not at risk of getting turned over, as where that is more of a question with Drake Maye, that accuracy and where that ball is going when he is throwing on the run. He also does hold on to the ball for a little too long at times. That did result in more sacks than ultimately were needed by that offensive line from North Carolina this past season. He does have issues getting through his reads quick enough also, which is something that can be coached, but is definitely going to take some time. His mental processing is not as quick as Caleb Williams. His decision-making also does need to improve. It's not terrible, but he made some questionable throws at times. Also has some issues securing the ball when he's rushing. I think that more of his turnovers actually came from fumbles when he was rushing the ball versus interceptions when he was throwing the ball. In terms of NFL comparisons here, the three big names that I'm hearing is Carson Palmer, Justin Herbert, and Ben Roethlisberger. I think if you get any style of one of those three quarterbacks, then it is an absolute home run hit by Drake Maye. Overall, my overall thoughts here, my consensus rather thoughts here is that if you're looking for the better all-around quarterback, it's going to be Drake Maye. Caleb Williams is going to be the smarter player with better processing, who will make better decisions when throwing the ball. Drake Maye will give you more big play opportunity, both with his arm and his elite scrambling ability, but Caleb Williams is also a guy who has proven to come up in those clutch moments. So there's definitely give, there's definitely take with both of these prospects. But what are your guys' thoughts? Who do you want under center from both of these quarterbacks in 2024? Let me know in the comment section below. Remember to leave a big like on this video, and of course, subscribe to the channel for all of your New England Patriots news. As always, though, I appreciate you guys for watching, and never forget, go Pats.